one is, start with the end in mind. And I know that's not always clear. And again, in my case, I'm not sure I did things quite the standard way or always the right way, but I started with a gut feeling, and it eventually turned into, I think I know where I want this to go. I want this to turn into a story that delves a bit into veterans, into some of the struggles that we face, into life transitions, whether we saw them coming or not, and where we find our meaning and our hope, and sort of a bit of encouragement. So start with the end in mind. I would also have done a little bit or a lot more research into, okay, if I want to write a work of fiction, that's great, but fiction is a huge area. You have to sort of narrow it down a little bit. What is your audience? And start tailoring your story and the way you write and the way you publish the book towards that audience. So start with end in mind. Do your research ahead of time. And then I guess the last thing would be this is, like having a baby, there are some days you're ecstatic and you just know this is going to be the most awesome thing ever. And other days you're terrified, and going, what am I doing? I'm putting something out there that, that means a lot to me, and anyone can just do whatever they want to with it.
Right.
But like a lot of other things in life, you have to, again, not to be cliche, but be brave. If there's a story you want to put out, if it's meaningful to you, it's likely to be very meaningful to a number of other people. And I guess the last thing I'd add is do the old checkup from the neck up. As always, why are we doing what are we doing? And there's not necessarily a wrong answer to that. But if you're doing it to make money, which is great because we all have to, then you need to look at it in those terms and what's your best chance for making money. If you wanted to reach a specific part of the population, then you're going to have to tailor your efforts towards that to make sure, like in my case, I didn't want the story to get hijacked and turned into something that I didn't want it to get turned into. So I chose to go a path that I may not make as much money, I may not get as much distribution, but I think they'll stay true to the story, which was what was important to me. So you have to sort of know why you're doing what you're doing and stick with it from that perspective.